All right, man. Peace. So, recent NBA championship winner Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors, he made an appearance on the Michael Smith and Jamel Hill Sports Center on ESPN, and he touched on a myriad of topics. One of them being the Kevin Durant roasting on the ESPYs the previous night by Peyton Manning. The segment with Steph Curry, I decided to include the precursor with Jamel Hill and Michael Smith talking about Kevin Durant, just for some context. So let's see what they say.
Our gymnastics team was so dominant that Kevin Durant told me he wants to play for them next year. And I got to tell you, I don't think you'd start for that team, Kevin. Yeah. Russell Westbrook, what do you think?
It's kind of obvious to me, at least, that they were both in on it. But, if I'm Kevin Durant, I'm not mad at that at all. I would have just fired a shot back at Peyton. I'd have been like, look, I think I would have started for the gymnastics team, especially if I was taking them steroids that you and your wife were having delivered to your front door, according to Al Jazeera. Remember that, Peyton? When Al Jazeera busted you for taking them steroids, allegedly, with your long giraffe neck having ass.
It was. Now you see, KD. What emojis should we read into that? Isn't that interesting how our jobs now are reading into emojis? According to Chris Haynes, though, KD was in on the joke.
Of course he was in on the joke. I mean, Peyton Manning ain't the type to just, bamboozle or ambush somebody. I'm sure that he went to KD and Russ before the show and he said, look, you guys are going to be a part of the little opening monologue. I'm going to say this. We're going to pan to you. You guys do whatever you feel like doing. But I just want to tell you beforehand. KD ain't thinking about no damn, silly ass Peyton Manning joke.
Look,
at least I hope not.
I know that KD's reaction. Some people said, "Oh, he was just trying to sell it." Like he may have known it was coming, but I don't think he necessarily appreciated it being said.
He could be in on it, but not into it. Like, there's a lot of things you and I collaborate on. I do it because you're the boss. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it. So he's at the ESPYs and they say, hey, heads up, we're going to cut away to you when Peyton makes this joke. Especially Peyton, given how much respect he has, I could see how he would want, as much as possible, let people know what was coming. The look he gave to that joke speaks to what he thinks of that joke, which is that it's not very funny. He later on got best championship performance, okay? He didn't ride anybody's coattails. He led the Warriors to this championship. Did they need him? No, not necessarily.
No, they needed him. All right, they needed him. The Warriors have shown that they are a phenomenal regular season team. They've shown that the previous 2 years before KD got there, they struggled in the playoffs both years. And I have very little doubt that this year's finals would have won 7 games and it would have been a toss-up once again with a healthy Steph Curry and a Harrison Barnes who was a year better. With a fully healthy Golden State squad, that series would have won at least 7 and Cleveland may have won again because they would not have had anybody to offset LeBron. See, once they had somebody to offset LeBron, then it became coach against coach, scheme against scheme, and team against team because KD just offset LeBron. So once again, all it showed was that Steph Curry was a much more dominant overall player than Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is a more dominant one-on-one player and is more dominant physically. But as far as overall command of the game, it's not even close between him and Steph. And that's the reason why Steph had what was considered an off year this year, and Kyrie has yet to have a season like the season that Steph had just this year. All right? But there's no doubt they needed Kevin Durant.
But he led them there. So you mean to tell me that he was acting 100% like he wasn't in his feelings about somebody suggesting that he was going to just be a bandwagon jumper? I mean, that's the look that he wanted to give. Yeah. Because if he would have really, if it had been something where he'd been like, oh man, that's something like that.
And I wonder if they told him about the Russell Westbrook
cutaway.
He went
deadpan because he was like, all right,
cool,
nice try.
He ain't thinking about that bullshit ass joke. All right. If KD in his right mind, all he's thinking about is the ESPYs after party and how many of them hard booty, upright titty, hard nipple having female athletes he gonna meet at the after party and take back to the hotel. And tell his mom, look, don't knock on my suite until about 8 o'clock the next morning because I'm gonna be busy. All right? That's what KD should have been thinking about, sitting in that chair. Ain't worried about no damn Peyton Manning. And plus, them gymnastics girls, speaking of them, they all a bunch of freaks anyway. So he might have said, I'm already on the team. You just don't know it yet. I ran through the whole team. I had them doing backflips and everything.
Nice try. So he knew
Allegedly.
it was coming, and that's what the look he decided to give.
So I'll make this personal and bring it to us. There are certain things, we've received a lot of criticism for this show.
Justifiably so. Justifiably so. All right. You guys put a little too much hijinks into the show, a little too much low level social commentary into the show. People are getting tired of liberal rants on television. Liberals have this mentality that they're enlightened and nobody else is. And, if you don't agree with them, they want to shut your mic off and all this nonsense. Most of their stances are not based in empirical data or realism. It's really just based in their need for emotional support. Like I said, most black liberals, they just follow white liberals. And really, most of these black power people and these black liberals, they just want the white man to give them a fucking hug. That's all it's really about. They're not revolutionaries. They're not trying to get social change. They're just trying to get validation from the Caucasians. That's all they're really about. And people are tired of it. They don't want to hear it anymore. I don't put on ESPN to listen to these people tell me about social issues. All right. They're not really cognizant or understanding of what they're talking about at all.
It's just in, right?
No.
But after a while, for both you and I, it gets old.
Yeah, almost as old as that damn braided up weave you got on your head.
All right. And we take a lot of pride in what we do. We love what we do. This is very personal for us. And some of it stings not because it's true. We know a lot of it is uneducated and ill-informed opinion. That's
one of the liberals' most prevalent retorts whenever somebody calls them out on their bullshit, right? That what they're saying is uneducated. Right? No, just because somebody disagrees with you does not make them uneducated. All right? All it means is that they have a stance different from yours. Now, if you can defend your stance, which I've already stated, most liberals can't, you're not worried about people disagreeing with you. And black liberals in particular, and especially black female liberals, their favorite term for somebody who disagrees with them is that they're ignorant, that the other person is quote unquote ignorant. Right? The word ignorant just means to not know something. And what you'll find is that when you ask black female liberals any type of incisive questions, they never have an answer. They never really know what they're talking about. They don't really know why they're saying what they're saying. They're just going off their feelings. And once again, to not know, the definition of to not know, the word for the definition of to not know something is to be ignorant. All right. So they like to use terms that really apply to them. All right. Just because somebody disagrees with a liberal's opinion does not make them ignorant. And as I've already stated, most of these people, they don't really have a plan. They just want to talk shit all damn day.
It's just because we're sick of it. And I know that Kevin Durant, he's just tired of it, right? It was never funny to him to begin with. And you know how he felt about the you the real MVP jokes when he said that really kind of angered him a little bit, that people turned it into a meme and into a joke because he meant something really heartfelt.
Well, you can't worry about that. Kevin Durant is a famous figure. And most of these people out in the internet world, they don't have nothing else better to do but to turn everything they hear into a meme or some shit, even me with this little YouTube channel, I look in the comments, everybody, allegedly. That's really a compliment. You can't be too caught up in that. If you love your mom and your mom, you believe that your mom is the real MVP, then you just go with that. But just the fact that people caught on to it and it became a big thing on social media, that's part of pop culture. Most people, they turn everything into a joke. It is what it is. Sometimes shit is funny. Move on, get over it.
I think it's okay if it still bothers him.
His mom smiled, I believe.
She did.
Up front. We saw her in the VIP room.
Afterwards.
What did she say?
And she said that, she didn't appreciate it. She didn't have a problem with it.
Right.
But she is just sick of it, much like her son is.
All right, the Warriors, of course, well represented at the ESPYs, both in terms of attendance and nominations. Steph and Aisha, as always, well dressed.
They go Steph with his handler, allegedly.
Just life goals. And for achieving the ultimate team goal, Warriors, Cubs, Patriots, Penguins, Clemson, South Carolina, and the U.S. women's gymnastics team all up for best team.
And the ESPY goes to... Oh, God. Please don't let it be them. Don't let it be them. Don't let it be them.
With great vengeance and furious anger.
It's not them. Okay, Golden State Warriors.
They go Steph and KD with the two women that run their life.
All right, and fresh off that ESPYs win, Steph Curry joins us on behalf of the American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe. Steph, we'll talk about your competition in just a moment, but let's talk about your teammate KD. Everybody's talking about Peyton roasting him in his opening monologue. Do you really think KD was in on that joke? And if so, how in on that joke was he?
I think KD's a great actor. I don't know the backstory. I didn't talk to him before the ESPYs, but I've seen Thunderstruck, so if he had to put on that face, he's pretty good at it.
Now, you went through some criticism after you guys lost the championship last year. Obviously, KD went through a lot of criticism for merely joining you guys. What advice have you given him about how to handle all of that?
They're going to build you up to break you down. There's going to be noise all around you, whether you know, especially a guy at his level. They're going to try to find things that are going to try to poke and prod and distract you from who you are, who you know you are, and what you're about. So I don't think he needed to hear that from me, but what we do for a living, how we're up front and center, and under the microscope, that stuff happens. But at the end of the day, all you can control is what you do on the court, how you carry yourself, and I think he's done an amazing job doing that his entire career, really, but especially this last year. And he's a champ now, and we're all happy to play with him, and hopefully continue to do great things together, have each other's back.
Curry does a great job of staying moderate. And what I mean by that is he does not let the outside world know what makes him too happy or too upset. All right, when you allow those type of things, then the people know how to manipulate you. All right, he does a very good job of keeping his poker face and his poker mind in order. All right, that's part of thinking on a higher level. You cannot allow other people to know, what makes you smile or what makes you cry. To allude to the little line in Training Day. It's very important. That's why they tend to leave Curry alone, because he has not shown any great mental weakness yet. And I doubt he will at this stage of his life, unless he gets put through the self-destruct programming. Who the hell knows? But, we'll see.
One more KD question. Steve Curry likened him to Tim Duncan for taking a pay cut to help keep the core, keep the team together. What'd you think about that? What'd you think about that move of his?
Yeah, I know Tim Duncan's story kind of vaguely, but I know for KD, he had a direct impact on allowing us to sign or to keep Andre and Sean and do some other moves that will help keep our core together. So I think he understood that responsibility and the way that, all the stuff when the salary cap works, that would be a huge help. And it talks about the ethos of our team and the identity that we have going forward. And we got our squad back for the most part. We got a couple more moves hopefully, and we'll be back.
Kevin Durant took a lot of heat. I shouldn't say a lot of heat, but from certain circles, specifically from Shannon Sharp. He took some heat for taking a little haircut on his salary. And I understand both sides of the argument. You definitely want to be utilized for pushing the envelope in regards to individual wages and salaries from the standpoint of the quote-unquote worker. But in a team environment, it's different. In a team environment, if the goal is winning, if the goal is unity amongst the team, when you know that you have that magic where everybody fits together, the chemistry is on point, that's hard to reattain. You know, sometimes you sacrifice when you find chemistry in life, whether it's with a team or whether it's with a friend or whether it's with a significant other. There's certain things that you have to sacrifice, right? And that goes back to what I was saying on the video about quote unquote falling in love. You know, loving someone and being in a relationship with someone is easy if you understand the simplicity of it. People add complexity. One of the main complexities that get added into a team environment is individual greed. All right. Now we know the owners are billionaires, so you want to push them, but the time to push the owners is at the bargaining table between the Players Association and the owners. It's not when you're trying to keep your team going and you have a chance to cement legacies. All right. Because those things are monetizable off the court. When you have 4 or 5 championships as opposed to just one, that leads to more commercials, that leads to more endorsements, that leads to more investors wanting to approach you, right? You get stock options, things of that nature. So it all depends on how your brain works. Do you want to get the immediate gratification of $5 or $6 million more in a season? Or do you want to think about, you know, the effects, even on a monetary level, that you will gain from winning more championships by taking a slight haircut right now? Because let's be for real, Kevin Durant is out there in the Bay Area. If you're Joe Lacob, you come to Kevin Durant and you say, look, you know, we can give you an $8 million haircut right now and keep the team together, and I can introduce you to some, you know, to some IT startups out here in, you know, in the Valley that's going to make you $50-60 million this year. I mean, or you can, you know, try to break the bank, and we break the team up. We let Iguodala go. We let a bunch of other guys go, and, you know, you guys might go out in the second or third round this year. It's up to you. I don't think that the decision is that hard, especially when you get together in the middle of the season, which I'm sure they did, and discuss their long-range plans.
Speaking of the salary cap, though, again, congratulations on your 5-year deal. Long underpaid, so congratulations on getting what you deserve. LeBron tweeted in response to your contract and the Warriors being worth $2.6 billion. He tweeted, why is there a salary cap on how much a player should get? He said that you should be getting $400 million this summer over 5 years. What changes would you like to see to the salary cap, and what do you think about what LeBron said about you?
I mean, it's a fair point. I think there's arguments on both sides, and we could sit here for hours and hours debating it and the difference between basketball, and I know there's a lot of talk now about NFL players getting more of the pot and things like that, which are great conversations to have because sports are so popular right now, and you know, the players have everything to do with that, and the work that they put in, the talent that they have, and so. Yeah, I don't think it's anybody, you know, being called greedy, saying that we should, you know, be making more and this and that. If there's you know, it should be no salary cap and a free open market for players to earn what the market says they should. But the situation now is there's not, and so we work through that until things change. And I think the fact that the conversations, you know, starting and happening and things like that in all different sports is great for the players to have a voice and try to. You know, better their situation.
Very good political answer, Steph. I like that. But let's be for real. What you really want to say is the only reason why that nigga LeBron is talking about my money is because he thinks he should be getting $800 million over 5 years. That's why he's talking about my money. He's just using me as a talking piece so that he can try to get more money. But you know what? To give LeBron credit and the benefit of the doubt, he does think about other players other than himself. And LeBron already knows he can get his money. And his career is on the other side. He's not going to get any $800 million contracts. LeBron knows that. But there's no doubt in my mind when he's talking about Steph, he's really talking about himself. And he's talking about how much money he should be making. Because, you know, LeBron thinks if Steph is making $200 million, he should be making $400 million. And if Steph should be making $400 million, he should be making $800 million. All right. Well, like Steph pretty much alluded to, that's something that gets handled over the bargaining table with the union. These NFL guys are complaining, but at the end of the day, you must blame your union. All right? A lot of things work against the NFL players. Number one, they wear helmets. So people do not identify with them individually as much as they do with NBA players. So if the NFL guys sit out a season, and you get replacement players, the level of play is going to go down, but people are just going to keep going right along with their team. All right, that's why the NFL promotes the shield. It is what it is.
You just discussed a moment ago about how KD taking less money allowed you guys to keep your core intact. A lot of teams this offseason have been making moves as well, trying to catch you guys. You have Paul George with the Thunder now, Jimmy Butler in Minnesota, the Rockets with Chris Paul. Melo might be joining them. What was there one move that you saw?
Look at Steph shaking his head. Steph like, all that movement for nothing. We still gonna whoop ass and take names.
Saw it and you thought, that's interesting.
I mean, let's be for real. Since Kobe and Shaq in the early 2000s, there hasn't been a team that you could argue has the best, the top two players in the NBA on their team, or two out of the top three. Yeah. There has not been a team probably since the Kobe Shaq teams where you can make that argument.
What caught your eye, basically?
I mean, anytime you see any of those, stars changing teams and you see a new face and a new place with new jerseys on, it's always weird and until you get used to it when the season starts. Because right now it's all, on paper type situations. But, I mean, obviously we've had battles with the Clippers for years, and CP is a fixture of what Clipper basketball is, and to see him in a different place is weird, but it's one that I'm sure we'll get adjusted to. We'll have to understand what it's like to play against those two guys down in Houston, as well as the rest of the moves that you talked about. And for us in the Western Conference, obviously, every night is going to be tough and challenging and competitive. And I think it's great for the game the way that it's going, and I think it would be great if we could stay on top.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb, make a bold prediction, and say you guys will make the playoffs next year. But it is going to be very difficult for those other 7 teams in the Western Conference, to your point. Conversations about whether or not, given the talent influx or migration to the West, whether or not there needs to be realignment for the playoffs. Would you be in favor of just going 1 through 16 independent of conference?
I actually like that idea, and I know that's been talked about a lot just because, I mean, I know that the big deterrent probably is the travel and how you divide up the games and series if you have DC playing Portland type situation. So that's tough to work through. But the competitive balance of seeing how all the teams stack up through the 82 game regular season, there might be a creative way to mix that up. But that's above my pay grade. So I'm gonna just play whoever the schedule says. And like I said, hopefully win more than we lose.
Above your pay grade. Your old pay grade, maybe, not
right,
the new one.
As we mentioned to people, you're at the...
All right, you know we tell the truth. You know what?
Yeah, it's okay to stunt sometimes.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
As we mentioned, you're at the American Century Championship. It's a lot of really good golfers there. You got Justin Timberlake, Aaron Rodgers, John Elway. Barkley, though, he doesn't pick a good one. Tony Romo, he's good, right?
Yeah.
But who do you see as your biggest competition? Who do you see as your biggest competition?
Myself. Myself is, like I was telling Michael, once you get into golf, you know that it's all what goes on between the ears in golf if you can control that. So obviously there's a lot of great golfers here that play at a very, very high level, and that's what this tournament's about. And that's why I love coming up here. But like anything that I do, I want to be competitive, try to win, and see if that can happen.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Hit them straight. We know you're warming up for your web.com tour event against the pros in August. Look forward to seeing you compete with the big boys. Steph Curry, we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
So, yeah. But, I don't know. The thing with the realignment of the schedule for the playoffs is they pretty much are going to have to realign the regular season schedule as well. And they're also going to have to realign the divisions. But that shouldn't be a problem. All you have to do is, get a real schedule maker. somebody who is going to minimize the travel, and just really work on the schedule like how it needs to be worked out. All right, it'll take a minute, but they can get it done. And I think that at first I was against it, but now it probably is time to just have a league-wide playoff as opposed to conference-based playoff, because the movement of the NBA players now, it's stopping bilateral growth of both conferences. Now it's just unilateral, and it's getting to be too uneven. All right, that's why you have guys like LeBron who go to the finals 7 straight years. I mean, LeBron is a great player, but if there was more even or more talent balance between the conferences, he would not be going to the finals for 8 straight years or 7 straight years. But I mean, it is what it is, man. Peace.